In this video, we're going to learn about how cells reproduce, what are the different ways of cellular reproduction. Cell division plays multiple different roles in the lives of organisms, and we're going to cover some of them. So one of the roles that cell division plays is in growth and development. So in the beginning of fertilization, when a sperm fertilizes an egg, initially you have one cell. But over the course of development, this image is showing you the course of development after fertilization up to day 23 in a human embryo. Right after fertilization and the events that happen within that one cell, then there is a burst of cell division where this one cell multiplies into multiple cells and creates this multicellular entity, after which then there is development and folding and so on and so forth. So cell division plays an important role in development of an embryo that starts with a sperm fertilizing an egg. Cell division also plays an important role in cell replacement, and there's various different scenarios in which cells are replaced in our bodies. One of the examples is when we cut our finger where there's a tissue that is ruptured. So this is an example of, let's say, when there is a cut within the skin. Epidermis is the top layer of the skin, and these are the bottom layers, and there is a cut. And then it shows that after the components of the immune system and other things that are required for clotting our blood, so the blood stops flowing, then the epithelial cells, they start multiplying. So epithelial cells are cells of our skin, and they fill in over this part that has been ruptured. And after a while, you can see that this layer, the epidermis, is replaced and repaired. So cell division plays an important role in that. Cell division also plays an important role for organisms making more of their kind, which we call reproduction. And there's two different types of reproduction. Asexual reproduction, which basically the organism creates an offspring which is genetically identical to itself. And it's an example of baker's yeast that multiplies pretty much by budding a new organism. So the cell starts like this, but part of it is going to start forming this bud, and this bud keeps growing and growing until it splits off from the parent. And these two cells that emerge are identical to each other in every way. For sexual reproduction, it's totally different. The offspring are not genetically identical to the parents, nor are they identical to each other. That's a situation where reproduction requires production of a sperm and egg from two separate individuals. And a good example of that is the, let's say, human population, where when a set of two parents produce children, none of the children look either exactly like them or like each other. So we're going to talk about in more detail how cells divide, and just when you compare prokaryote and eukaryotic cells, you see prokaryotic cells are relatively simple compared to eukaryotic cells, and therefore the steps that are involved in the division of eukaryotic cells is much more complicated, as you will see. Prokaryotic cells divide by binary fission. They basically grow in size, so this is one cell, and the genetic material for bacteria is just one circular molecule. So the entire genes that a bacterium needs is on this big, large circular molecule, and what happens was before the cell starts dividing, a copy of the genetic material is made, and the cell elongates in length. Keeps elongating until the two pieces of genetic material that are identical, they are sorted in the two ends of that elongating cell, and then a fissure forms, and then the cell splits into two. So these two cells are identical to the parent cell, and their genes are identical. They're identical in every way. So you could say that's asexual reproduction. So relatively, it's pretty simple. Now, in order for us to understand cell division in eukaryotes, there's a number of different things first we need to cover. We have to talk about the eukaryotic chromosome and its structure. We have to talk about the preparation steps before cell division happens. And also we need to talk about cell cycle, which I'm going to discuss in the next video.